All right, it looks like the majority of people are here, so let's begin. Good morning. I'm Jonah Morrison, Chief Operating Officer at HealthPass. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to be with us today to learn more about what Decision HR has to offer. I would also like to thank Patrice Alvino from Decision HR for presenting today. I wanted to let you know that as in past webinars, we will not be having a formal Q&A at the end of the presentation. However, should you have any questions, please use the Q&A option at the bottom of the screen to ask your question, and we will send out all the questions answered along with the presentation to everyone who attended. I will now turn things over to Patrice Alvino from Decision HR for the presentation. Patrice.
Thank you so much, Jonah. Good morning, everybody. And I want to just take a second and thank all the HealthPass brokers for the dozens and dozens of submissions that we've been getting since we launched this partnership. As a broker-friendly PEO, we are not only able to help you and get your clients the most information about us and the products that we have to offer, and enable you to compete in the marketplace. As a true consultant, the best conversations with your clients are the ones that give them real solutions. So we are happy to be a part of that. So thank you all. So I just want to go over, for those of you who might not have been on a HealthPass PEO webinar before, who is Decision HR? We are one of the top 5 privately held PEOs in the country. So last we checked, there were about 437 registered and operating PEOs with the IRS. Registered and operating, there's about 900 that are registered, but actually doing payroll and HR for their clients, there's about 437. So for us to be top 5 privately held is pretty significant. We recently purchased a similar size PEO in Florida called MBA, Modern Business Associates, which really expands our size, footprint, and product offering. Decision HR is owned by Bankers Insurance, who's a large flood and homeowners insurance carrier in the South. And with our recent purchase of MBA, that now puts us over 52,000 worksite employees that we process payroll and service HR for in all 50 states. But I think our true competitive advantage for your clients are really our one point of contact for all payroll and HR issues. And this is a live body that is regionally located in and throughout the US for your client, to be their real one-stop shop for payroll, HR, compliance, and training concerns. So just a little recap on who Decision HR is. And now I just want to remind everybody why a PEO. PEOs are becoming more and more prevalent, and they're gaining membership all across the country. But why is that? So the PEO is the employer of record. So we handle all of the payroll and benefits. We provide HR services, compliance. We help out with the workers' compensation cost and liability, and in many cases can get these employers lower cost health insurance than they can in the open market. But the client still has their day-to-day control over their work site and their employees. They determine the compensation and the performance reviews. So this is a co-employment relationship that we enter into with the business owner, but it's really the best of both worlds, because they get all of the service and advantages of having us do all of their administration, yet they still can control their work site. And the best part is that in most cases, they're saving a significant amount of money on some of the services that they need to offer, like health insurance and workers' compensation. So today we're going to be reviewing 3 new exciting products that Decision HR has to offer your clients. Early wage access for the employees, cyber liability coverage for your employers, and additional advanced online trainings that we're now offering. If at any time, though, any of you have missed our previous webinars and you want to hear more about the products that we have with regards to our Empire health insurance offerings, or if you want to hear more about our workers' compensation program through AIG, please just reach out to your HealthPass partner. We'd be more than happy to jump on a call or set up a meeting or even come to your office and tell you more about those products and services. But today we're going to be reviewing these 3 new topics that we have to offer. So the first that we're going to go through is early wage access for employees, or sometimes it's called earned wage access. It actually goes by a few different names: early wage access, on-demand pay, or maybe daily pay you've heard of. But essentially they all refer to the ability for an employee to access the money that they've earned before their scheduled payday. So the earned wage access industry is actually relatively new, but we're starting to see more and more. We're seeing more payroll companies offering it, more human resource companies offering it, and it's really something that's being talked about more and more. It's a value-added differentiator for employers as well. So this is a free, modern solution that benefits not only the employee, but the employers. And our product combines this ability to get their wages early, but also for the employee to take part in their paycheck prior to payday. And it bundles our solution with a pay card that gives the employees the opportunity to access through a MasterCard debit card after every shift. And again, there is no cost to either the employee or the employer. So the product that we use to facilitate this is called Claire. And again, it's always free and they're instant advances. So here's kind of how it works. Once a client of yours decides that they'd like to offer this solution to their employees, the employee will sign up for Claire online, and they just switch their personal direct deposit to a Claire account. So within a few taps, they can send their money or a portion of the money that they've earned to this new Claire MasterCard. So this allows for the employees to take advances based on hours worked. And those hours worked have to be, we have to make sure that they're in our HR payroll system. So let's think about some of the types of employees that this would be great for, using examples from some actual HealthPass PEO customers, restaurants, country clubs, maybe home healthcare workers. These employees can now take their pay right after their shift ends. So maybe their cell phone bills due today, or maybe they want to make a large BJ's run ahead of this snowstorm we're supposedly getting Friday into Saturday. As soon as they clock out of their shift, they can now transfer a portion of the money that they've earned so far onto this MasterCard, and they don't have to wait till payday. So payday could be in a few days. It could even be a week and a half out. They don't have to wait. They can actually get paid right after their shift ends. And then what happens is that employee pays back that money that they've taken early back to Claire on their next scheduled payday. So Claire and our payroll system actually have a bi-directional interface that it allows us to see the time that's been given, and we can see how much has been withdrawn from the account, so that the amount can be adjusted on payday, and we make sure that we're not overpaying an employee or underpaying an employee. So what are some of the benefits of this on-demand pay ability? So Claire has done some research. As I said, it's a relatively new product out there in the world, but there's been some extensive research done about the advantages of this. So the employees, it has been seen to reduce absenteeism by 34%. You can truly empower these employees to become more financially free. So when employees are taken care of, it actually shows. Instant gratification is definitely a real thing. Studies show employees are more likely to not take off of work if they can get paid right immediately after their shift ends. So it's been known to decrease absenteeism by 34%. Many business owners are now searching for tools that really will help them attract and retain employees in this difficult, employee market that we're in, to give employees, different options, and it shows the employer's willingness to think outside the box. It's also been seen to reduce turnover by 40%. And this is definitely significant because employees want to stay where they feel appreciated. And finally, this tool has been shown to increase performance. If you know that you can get paid as soon as your shift ends, the likelihood that you are going to put your all into that shift is higher, because you now get to see that instant gratification of getting your money immediately. So the next feature we want to talk about today is our new cyber liability coverage policy and what's included. Data breaches, unfortunately, are on the rise. More employees working from home, making companies more vulnerable. So we wanted to extend this product to all of our clients that would help with this. The number of data breaches that were recorded in 2021 actually exceeded the number of total data breaches in 2020 by 17%. 1,291 breaches in 2021 and 1,100 breaches in 2020. So this shows that it's going to become more and more prevalent. Definitely data breaches are on the rise. So our coverage not only offers the client, if the client experiences a data breach, but also what to do afterwards. And more importantly, they do scanning and monitoring to stop any potential breaches before they happen. They have access to advocates and advisors 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days. So if something happens at night on the weekends, they do have access to advocates that can tell them how to recover from this. And the comprehensive coverage really includes not only the protection, the assessment, the remediation, and this is all by an A-rated carrier partner that we've handpicked. So here's something for you all to think about. How many phishing emails do you think are actually sent in a day? And for those that might not be familiar with what is a phishing email, it's technically the fraudulent practice of sending an email appearing to be from a reputable company in order to induce that person to share things like personal information, passwords, credit card numbers. So how many phishing emails do we think are sent in a day, a single day? 2.2, 2.9, or 3.6 billion. So I'll let you all think about that for a second. But this is an actual email that got sent last week, just showing you that it appears everyone is a target these days. This is a screenshot of an email that went to one of my employees. Now, if you look closely, the email that it went to was a Charlie Backer. And I always call him Charlie. He does not want to be called Charles, does not want to be called Chuck. But in the email, it actually says, Charles, I'm on my way back to the office. So right there, he kind of started to feel a little fishy because he knew that I would never have called him Charles. It says, I'm on my way back to the office. Our office is in Tampa, right outside of Tampa, and I'm in North Jersey. So I think he kind of caught on at that point that this was not a legitimate email. But it says to him, why didn't you inform me about this customer complaint? Now, if you're an employee and you're reading this from your supervisor, first thing you're going to do is like, oh, geez, what are they talking about? And you're going to click on the link. Good thing Charlie kind of, got hip to it right away and did not. He flagged this to our IT department right away. But this just goes to show you that everyone is a target these days. So back to our poll, how many phishing emails sent a day? The answer is 3.6 billion, and 43% of them are aimed at small businesses. So it's really not a matter of if a business will face cyber attack, it's really just a matter of when, and then how will they respond and be able to keep their doors open if that were to occur. 44% of the companies that do experience a breach, it's actually through a third-party partner of theirs. All of our business clients are dealing with many, many partners out there. So, and most of the breaches are coming through their access to these third parties. The cost of a data breach to a small company is topping 1.2 million. So this product that we're now offering gives a little peace of mind to our customer. There's really no more wondering if they're doing enough to protect themselves or to stay ahead of it if it were to happen. So the cyber plan that we've got is really very strategic. It will assess, so it finds if there's any corporate data for that specific company that has been breached and where. Enhance, it provides tools to not only plan, but to train the employees of your clients to protect themselves as best as they can. We respond, so if a breach occurs, an experienced advocate can speak to them, like I said, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to begin their response plan. We help them recover. So we give them as much expert guidance as they can to get their business back to normal, and ongoing support. So we communicate updates and provide tools to help them keep up to date for threats. So I just want to narrow these numbers down for everybody for 1 second so that they, more palatable and more useful. So let's take a look at the average cost per year that a single company will lose as a result of a cyber attack. So these are just averaged numbers. So they don't actually reflect every individual company, but according to our numbers, the losses depend greatly on the size of the company. So saying goes here that the more you have, the more you're likely to use. So companies with over 1,000 employees, the loss on average to each one of them is about 504,000 a year. Our smaller companies that many of us are often dealing with, the average size client for Decision HR is 27 employees. So they fall in that small company category there, but their loss on average is 24,000 each company. So last topic that we wanted to talk about today, and again, just wanted to remind everybody, if you want to hear more about our health insurance products or our workers' comp program through AIG, just reach out to your HealthPass partner and we will be more than happy to schedule a meeting with you. But today, the last topic that we wanted to talk about is our new access to our advanced training module. And the company that we use to provide this to our employers is called BLR. So there are 28 standard courses both in English and Spanish for the employees and 42 trainings available for supervisors. So our clients have access to all of these, not just the 43 supervisor trainings or the 28 employee trainings. They have access to the whole suite of products. Some of the top courses for the employees are mandatory sexual harassment, which we're going to talk about in a second, HIPAA courses, business ethics, email etiquette. That's a good one. We see some questionable emails flying around every day. Preventing workplace violence, active shooter trainings are included in here. Something that we don't want to think about, but we all probably need to. Some of the top supervisor trainings are regarding FMLA, how to conduct effective performance reviews, what are grounds for termination, even interviewing skills. So I'm sure you all have clients, many of us do, that have promoted a great employee to supervisor. But other than organic training and watching and being mentored by other employees, what leadership advancement are they really giving some of these employees that they've promoted? Who teaches them how to conduct a performance review? These are all interactive and educational tools that anyone can really benefit from. And like I said, they get the full suite of all of these trainings, not just one or two of them. So many years ago, I was promoted to a sales manager and just told, you need to now interview people to become salespeople. And I'm sure that going through that process, I guarantee you, I definitely asked some questions that I should not have. So this can be used for, like I said, promotion, organizational development, new hire orientation for your clients. There's also 6 states in the US that have mandatory sexual harassment training. California, Connecticut, Maine, Delaware, Illinois, and New York are the 6 states that have a requirement to conduct sexual harassment trainings once a year with all employees. This product has each of those. So if you've got clients that have employees in multiple states and fall into one of those 6 states, our product has the ability to do that training and to get them in compliance in all 6 of those. The way that it works is that you can assign trainings or reassign trainings on a calendar year basis to your employees. So you never forget, or your client's HR person or the owner never forgets that this is something that has to be done and how often it has to be done. They can also report on the progress of these trainings. So if in the event that ever get audited and they want to see and make sure that everyone's completed and conducted it, they can run reports off of that and show whoever's asking for those. So in our great state here in New York, there's actually 2 things that our employers need to keep track of. The first is that there is a New York State requirement for all employers, no matter of size, who employ anyone in New York State to conduct annual sexual harassment training. So this started October 9th, 2018. And like I said, it applies to all employers, no matter what size. It's not just limited to supervisors like it used to be. and especially contractors who bid on any New York state government or provide the government resources. So that's the New York State sexual harassment training requirement. There's also a New York City law that started on December 31st, 2019, and then also says that these employees must be retrained each calendar year. This one applies to groups with 15 or more employees, that they have to provide sexual harassment training to all employees and interns. In 2020, they actually upgraded that to include now all independent contractors and freelancers. So if you've got groups and they say, I don't fall into 15 with my, independent contractors, it includes them now as well. So 2 laws that our groups need to keep compliance with, that's the New York State law and then also the New York City law. So failing to prevent sexual harassment violates the New York State law and also the New York City law. And the fines start for New York State at $100 per violation. For New York City, if there were a situation that happened to go to court, there would be civil penalties up to $250,000 if they found that the employer was held responsible and willfully violated the law by not providing this sexual harassment training to their employees. So just something to think about, but really great resource that we have now for our employers to not only take advantage of those trainings like we talked about before, but this is one that they have to be in compliance with. In addition to not only the trainings that they have access to, there's some additional expanded guidance that our partners at BLR can give our groups. So we will take their handbook, their existing handbook, and I'm sure you all have clients with an outdated handbook and maybe some clients who don't even have one. We've run into them definitely. And we will review, edit, and revise any pieces that they would like us to assist on. We can help them to add any state-specific addendums as well. Think about your clients that have employees in multiple states. Have they had their handbook reviewed recently? And what about job descriptions? I mean, that's, in our intense working environment these days, it's beneficial for employees to review, modernize, update their job descriptions to attract the right candidates. If you have clients that sign up with Decision HR, they can offer them now Claire, where they can get their access to their money on payday. That can be put in the handbook as an advantage. So these are just some added features that we give part of our clients that sign up for our BLR training. They now have access for us to not only review, but also recommend and even help them create a handbook if they don't have one. So if anybody has been on these webinars before, I always really end with this slide, which gives you guys some ideas as to the benefits of using a PEO. They're definitely gaining popularity, especially in our area up here in the Northeast. And the membership is growing significantly for the PEOs. So HealthPass wants to give you an option to be able to compete against all of the PEOs that are out there knocking on your clients' doors. But here's the why. Between why PEOs are becoming so effective. Because of those added features, like some of the things that we discussed today, voluntary benefit offerings, or maybe even a 401k offering that are given to these employers at no cost, it is less likely that they would experience turnover. And it's shown that companies that are using a PEO, their turnover is 23 to 32% lower. And again, this is because of the added features that they can now offer these employees, like Claire, for example, that their counterparts not using a PEO might not have to offer. It's been shown that small businesses grow 7% faster. These small business owners and management and HR at these clients of yours can now focus on their day-to-day activities and operations. They don't have to worry about the new laws and rules and payroll regulations in the states where they have employees. That's our job, and that's what we give them support with every day. So they don't have to worry about all those administrative tasks. They can leave that to us. We can take a tremendous burden off the small business owners by keeping them compliant on up-to-date laws, rules, and regulations. as a small business owner, just to keep up with the laws in California alone is a full-time job. So if you've got employers that have employees across the country, especially those in California, we definitely can help them out and excel with that. PEOs are 41% more likely to have reported growth in 2020, which was a difficult year for many of our businesses out there, and 60% less likely to have permanently closed. And again, these are just statistics that the National Association of PEOs have put out there from last year, just showing the advantages that these groups have with using a PEO. So today we talked about Claire, which is the early wage access for these employees. Huge value added benefit to those employees that want to get that instant gratification of I finished my shift and I want to get paid today. We've talked about the cyber liability coverage and how that is growing and growing as a threat. And we give these employers not only the peace of mind that we can help them if they have a breach, but also give them the support of monitoring their business before one. And we talked about BLR and all those added trainings, 43 on the supervisor level, 28 on the employee level that they now have access to by becoming a client of HealthPass PEO Decision HR. So again, thank you all. I know I've said it a couple times before, but I just want to remind you, if you want to talk to us about our Empire products and services that we have for any of your groups, or if you want to talk about our workers' compensation program through AIG, we've got a team that is dedicated to HealthPass that is more than happy to jump on a call with you all or a meeting with your group and tell you more about any of those products and services. But I'm going to pass it back over to Jonah for some final thoughts.
All right, thank you, Patrice. This concludes our webinar for today. Thank you all again for attending. And as a reminder, we're going to be sending out answers to any of the questions that were asked along with the presentation in the next day or so. But as always, please do not hesitate to contact your HealthPass account executive for any more information or if you have any additional questions. Thank you.